electric on them both. Radio's off. Off, 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 off. Electrical off. Brakes set. Circuit breakers in. Carburetor heat cooled. Master switch on. Prime. Two shots prime. I need you to get your pen and pencil ready.
The year was 1988. Dad and I decided to take my great Uncle Gene for his very first airplane ride that April day. So we loaded up in our Cessna 758-79er, and we left Phelps Field and headed north of Spokane to show Uncle Gene some of his favorite places, except for with a different view. He got to see him for the very first time from the air.
Must be a different controller than yeah. Ready? Phelps Tower, Cessna 75879 is ready to take off.
The 75879, Phelps Tower, runway 3 left, left turn approved, clear for takeoff.
Make a left turn straight north. What altitude do you use? Oh, we'll try to get up about 6,500 feet. They ought to be able to pick you up that, shouldn't they? out of the artsy here any minute now. I can hear it. Something you can get 6,500 feet in the art. Boy, it sure smooths off up here. Our temperature.
West 156, November, turn left heading 050.
05069. Spokane departure right 549 is with you, 4,004, 6,000. Hard to see out there today.
It was a beautiful day for an airplane ride. And as we flew north out of Spokane's Phelps Field and up towards Mount Spokane, you could see the low-lying clouds in the valleys. And as I watched this videotape, it was just hard to believe Uncle Gene was so steady with that video camera sitting there in the back seat of the Cessna. As you're looking out the window there, you're looking out towards where Mount Spokane High School now sits.
That Carson right there. Slower one.
In 1988, Mount Spokane looked a little bit different than it does today. As we approach Mount Spokane here in April, you can see the snow still attached to the mountain. Some of that hard pack that doesn't melt away until late in the year. Today, those ski runs look a lot different than they did in 1988.
Departure Horizon 373 is out of 4,004, 12,000. Present 373, Spokane departure, radar contact. Present 549, contact Seattle Center 124.1.
549,
United 524, turn right heading 070 and contact Seattle on 124.1. Have a good flight. 70 degrees, 2413.
As we fly over the ski slopes here, if you take a look down, you can see some of the riffles in the snow from the moguls that are created by skiers throughout the winter. Wouldn't have surprised me if there weren't probably some spring skiers still down there on those slopes. I know a lot of those crazy guys. They love to hang out up there in April.
Right to 100 and J-line 136 on nav horizon 373.
It's on my side. That was the neatest ride.
Press 237, contact Seattle Center 124.1. So on.
24.
Spokane departure, Alaska 131. We're 3.7, north climbing to 12,000. Alaska 131, Spokane departure, radar contact, turn left heading 255. Continue to left turn to 255, heading Alaska 131. Present 373, Seattle Center 124, South Philly, Bravo, roger.
As we approach Mount Kit Carson, I was always reminded of the KC-135 that didn't make it to Spokane, and it went down somewhere right down below us. It's kind of a strange feeling when you're in an airplane flying over that particular area.
Alaska 131, heading 255, contact. 1157 Delta, Spokane departure, radar contact, SIG, your altitude leaving. 357 Delta.
Good pilot.
357 Delta, traffic at 9 o'clock, a mile and a half southbound, Cessna, climbing to 6,500. 357 Delta, thank you. Airplane 32, Spokane approach, maintain air above 7,000, there to BOR, visual approach to runway 3.
What do you think?
Airpack 32 showing 7,600, just close enough.
What do you think? Want to go take a look around some other places, Uncle Gene? Want to go take a look around some other places?
Airpack 32, descend your discretion, maintain 5.
This is Aloika Lake as you approach Deer Park from the east.
Airpack 32.
Deer Park, area traffic 7758, radar. You mean just forgot? There's a path right below us, Uncle Gene.
As we flew along, we flew over the old missile site up north of Deer Park and over the airport and then back over towards Deer Park. For you, those of you that live in Deer Park now, I'm sure this scene looks a lot different. There's not nearly as many homes in 1988 along Missile Site Road or even in Deer Park as far as that goes.
Airpack 32, contact tower 11820. Have a good weekend.
North of Deer Park, we flew over Loon Lake. Loon Lake's one of the favorite places of all the locals in the area. As we fly over here, you're looking at the Granite Point Resort. And kind of across the middle of the lake there, you can see Highway 395 directly below the airplane. And that's looking north on Highway 395, headed towards Chewelah. This is Deer Lake as we fly north. I wish I knew how many hours I spent water skiing on that lake. You see in the upper corner there, that's the Narrows up on the top end. Down the other end is Sunrise Point. That's where Mom and Dad had a place when I was growing up. As you watch this video, it's kind of cool. If you look up on the top end of your screen, you'll see Loon Lake, and you can see Deer Lake directly below us. They're not that far away from each other as the plane flies.
Deer Park traffic, Cessna 226, turning crosswind, runway 30.
There's one of my favorite ski hills ever, Chewelah Peak, as we head north towards Chewelah.
That's Colville way out there underneath the wing. Steering yet, switch? Yeah, leave it open. Listen for traffic. Okay? Yeah. Oh, big turn right down there.
Here's Lake Sherry, Lake Thomas, and Lake Gillette as we fly over the Pend Oreille Little Chain Lakes. These are in Pend Oreille County, and they're nestled up here in the mountains. Great little place to go camping. Some really nice motorcycle trails back in there. And that hasn't changed a whole lot over the years. The Pend Oreille River winds its way all the way from Newport on up into Canada. Originates over in Montana somewhere with some of those glacier-fed rivers and creeks along the Clark Fork. The Pend Oreille River itself makes Pend Oreille County what it is with its dams and hydropower. I kind of grew up in the mountains up around here. So whenever I see this, it just brings back a whole lot of home to me. If you look directly below the plane there, that is what they call Rivers Bend, and there used to be an airport right down there, just a grass strip that you could land at. We never tried it. And if you look real close, you can see the East LeClaire Creek Highway there. The mountains in the background, North Baldy, South Baldy, and a whole slew of little hills and mountains in between. Nestled in between them in this video is all the clouds. Kind of makes it a neat little picture. It's like cotton balls, all stuff down in there. These are some of the sloughs located near Tacoma Creek, which is along the Pondere River. You can see the highway that heads north there up to Medellin Falls. The U.S. Air Force has a survival school not far from here that still operates today. And I was kind of surprised in the video that I didn't see the Huey helicopter that they had at the time flying around. We used to see it quite a bit. In the river, you can see the bridge at Usk that crosses and goes back over, and will take you up to Skookum or back through the Kalispell Indian Reservation on the east side of the river. Today, if you look over there on that east side of the river, you would have seen the new center that the tribe has there. It's a big, beautiful building. Wasn't even thought of when we flew over at this time. And down below us here is Cusick and Usk. was hard for me to believe when I saw this video that Uncle Gene was able to film the wheel pants on the airplane. Dad and I watched this, and we almost thought, well, he had to almost hang his head out the window to do this, which we know he didn't do. I think he had a pretty darn good time with his video camera hanging out in the back seat with us that day. Some people might recognize that as Riverside Elementary, Middle, and High School down there. You can kind of see the Deer Park Milan Highway there just in front of the schools. I spend a little bit of time up there, and my wife spends a little bit of time there now. That's Bear Lake along Highway 2 off to our left-hand side. As we fly over here, this is the Kaiser Mead plant that we're flying over. And Uncle Gene in the back seat actually retired from Kaiser Mead, so that was kind of special for him to see it from the bird's eye view. That's the corner of Crestline and Magnesium Road. So people that live up in the Bluegrass area, now you understand why they call it Bluegrass. Those big round circles out there, that used to be Ray Turf Farms, and they used to grow bluegrass there. But right now we're coming over Morgan Acres, headed south over Spokane. This year being 2015, if you look out there, that's just full of houses. Of course, this is over Spokane, headed south on our approach. You can see Rogers High School in the middle there. So that would be Wellesley Street that we're going to come over the top of right now.
This is 704 Lima Delta. This is 704 Lima Delta, Film Star. Lima Delta just departed international and bound to first class. This is 704 Lima Delta, reported a 3-mile final for runway 3 left. Lima Delta.
running.
It must have been cold there
Thank you.
in my shadow.
Low runway, contact ground point 79 crossing.
879 right.
Never have sunlight on your
Please
face.
just contact ground point 7.
You were content to let me shine. That's your way. You always walk a step behind. So I was the one with all the glory, while you were the one with all the strength.
Yeah, that's alright.
Beautiful face without a name
That's a neat camera.
for so long.
Yeah, we got
Beautiful smile to hide